Okay, so we have with us here today Justin Wakefield, who is a patient of a traumatic brain injury. Today we're going to hear from Justin a little bit about his side of the story. We're going to start with Justin. Can you tell us who you are, what happened to you, and your experience now and in the past 10 years?
Yes, my name is Justin Wakefield, and I got in a car accident on the way to work 1 week before my high school graduation ceremony. Spent 14 days in a coma after suffering a traumatic brain injury when I hit my head on the windshield of my car because I wasn't wearing a seatbelt. And immediately after I woke up, I was in University of Louisville Hospital, and once I got as far as the University of Louisville hospital-based rehab could get me, I went to Frazier downtown hospital-based rehab facility, and then I went to outpatient Frazier at East Frazier Rehab, and then Mom and Dad were having trouble getting me to and from outpatient rehab at East Frazier, so they sent me to Center for Neuroskills down in Texas because they heard from a therapist at East Frazier that it was the foremost rehab facility, foremost residential rehab facility in the entire nation. And once Dad heard that, he decided that if Mom and Dad weren't going to be able to take me to outpatient therapy, if I needed to go to a residential rehab facility, that's where Dad wanted me to go, the best in the country. Went down there for 9 months, and then I came back to Radical Rehab in Lexington, and then once I got up to Radical Rehab in Lexington, I stayed in Radical Rehab of Lexington for 4 years.
I don't know.
I was in Texas for 9 months.
I think it was 4, and then you went to Louisville.
Yeah, I was in Texas for 9 months, and then I was in Lexington for like 4 years, and then I was in Louisville for like 3 years, and then I came back down here to Lexington till now.
There we go. Okay.
And here we are today.
All right, so now we're going to talk a little bit about the impact that it's had on you. We'll start with physical just because that's probably less hard for you to say. So tell us a little bit about the physical impact that your brain injury has had on you.
Initially,
in general and now today.
Well, initially I couldn't move the entire left side of my body, and especially the upper body, my left arm. Like, my left arm, I couldn't move it at all, and my left arm just hung there, and eventually it pulled itself out of socket, and I still have got like a finger of separation. I can feel it when I feel like I can You're interrupting. Sorry. That's the evening med pass.
Oh, okay.
Sorry. Can you leave it here? It's my sister's class.
Oh, but I have to what you take.
Sorry. It's
Justin, just take your meds real quick. It's fine.
okay. I don't have a drink.
You want water?
Yeah. Sorry. She'll be right back. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, but my left arm eventually pulled itself out of socket, and I've still got about a finger separation between the ball of my left arm, the ball at the top of my left arm, and the joint in the left arm. Y'all are nurses or future nurses, and you probably all know what I'm talking about when I talk about that joint. Thank you. And yeah. So yeah, I've got about a finger's worth of separation still in that joint. And the doctors, when Dad first asked about that, the doctors said that they could do surgery to put it back into socket, but that would probably decrease the overall mobility of that arm in the end once it is back into socket. But if I were to, whereas if I were not to do the surgery and I were to just use my left arm, and over time, eventually, throughout just using my left arm, it would pull itself back into socket. And it's been a decade and it still hasn't pulled itself all the way back into socket. And
you still have decreased functioning in your left arm too, and your left leg, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna move on. Can you tell us about the emotional impact that having a traumatic brain injury has had on you?
On me. Yeah, that's real question. Intense.
You can be brief. You don't have to go into it deeply.
It's made me it made me stop and think about, I mean, it just gave me a whole new look on life. I just, everything that I was taking for granted before, everything that I mean, it brought everything to light that I had been taking for granted before.
Mm-hmm.
It threw in my face how much that I had. I mean, it's astounding to me how much that I had and that I didn't, that I wasn't thankful for. and that I did not. I don't. I was. I don't know. It baffles me that I was ever angry or depressed before I got in that car accident. It baffles me. And, coming that close to dying, it's given me a new, fresh outlook. Not gonna let that hold me back. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna let that. I'm not gonna let that I'm not gonna let fear keep me from. Not gonna let the fear of failure keep me from doing shit ever again. Just not gonna do it.
Well, what about the anxiety and the depression that you've experienced because of your brain injury?
Mostly it's just frustration and anger at myself at the thought of letting you or mom or dad down, letting my family down, letting my loved ones down. The thought of letting y'all down. Can't stand that.
Yeah.
Not after what y'all have done. Not after what I put y'all through.
What do you think has been the thing that has impacted you the most? If you could pick one thing.
Probably, maybe the response of my community as a whole. Maybe that, or my family as a whole.
Yeah.
You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, how everyone came together after the accident and just raised money for you.
Yeah, that's what I mean. The large amount of people that responded.
Yeah.
The large response that I seemed to get. That's what impacted me the most, was the fact that my hospital door didn't seem to close.
Yeah.
That's what meant the most to me, was at Frazier, my door stayed open.
Yeah.
My phone at Frazier kept ringing with, Justin, you got some visitors, and that hallway kept pitter pattering with flip flops, and it was freaking awesome.
Okay. Well, thank you for sharing your story with us. Really appreciate hearing from you and hearing your perspective on it.